So this is a hard question, and the first approach I'm going to show you is by just approximating or guessing a value for that. So we know that x is a number greater than 1, and this piece is going to be really small because it's in the denominator, and you're raising it to power 8. So what we'll do is we'll reduce this to x to the power 8 is 47. And we can just use the square root function in the calculator. So if you take 47, and this is available on the calculator, on-screen calculator that the CAT exam gives you. So you'll get x to the 4. After you take the square root of that would be 6.85. And then you take square root again. And I'm doing it right with you. So this would be 2.62. And then we take another square root. And then we'll get 1.618 approximately. And then this one will be approximately equal to x to the 9, again recognizing that that's close to 0. And x to the 9 is x to the 8 times x. So we don't have to raise this to the 9th power, meaning repeatedly multiply, because that piece we already know is 47. So the answer we're looking for is going to be close to that. And if I multiply that by 47, I get 76.05, or just 76. Now, if you punch in all these values in the calculator, 34 times 5 square root, you will see comes out to be 76.02. So these two are very close, and that's indeed the answer. So you could do it this way. I didn't do it this way in the when I first looked at this question. I don't think I would have gotten this question right in the exam. So just to give you that this is also a possibility. Sometimes it works. Now let's go over how they probably want you to do is to do the manipulations. And this may be helpful for other types of questions because I have seen these types of questions earlier. And that has to do with recognizing that if you square this, you will get x to the 8 plus 1 over x to the 8. Plus you're going to get 2 here because when you multiply these two terms, that's just 1. And so that means x to the power 4th plus 1 over x to the 4th is equal to 47 plus 2, which is 49, which means x to the 4 plus 1 over x to the 4 is 7, because you have a square here. And we're only looking at positive values. Then we do the same thing again, x squared plus 1 over x squared square. So this might be helpful in questions where they're asking you this or that expression. And then this would be x to the 4th plus 1 over x to the 4th plus 2. Again, we get the 2 because when you multiply these two, that becomes 1. And this is 7, so that becomes 9, which means x squared plus 1 over x squared is equal to 3. Then we do once more. And that would be a question where they were just asking you to find what is x plus 1 over x, or maybe even x. And so that's 3 plus 2 is 5. So x plus 1 over x is square root of 5. And you can use quadratic formula to solve for it. And maybe some students can find the x value, which is what I got by approximating it earlier. You can do that as well. And then plugging it in, meaning you will get that 1.62 value. And then you would just multiply it 9 times, and you will eventually get the answer. But of course, here you have to compute these as well. Now, how do we connect that to these expressions? Because we have a 9th power, I know I have to cube x cube. So, because that's the only way I will get this. Now, I don't always remember the cubic form, so this would be x to the 6th. First, I'm going to do the square part, meaning just the square. And that would be x to the 6th plus 1 over x to the 6th plus 2. And then I have to multiply it by x cubed. So if you remember the cubic, I think you should, then it might go faster. X plus x cubed plus 1 over x cubed plus 1 over x 9 plus 2x cubed plus 2 over x cubed. So this is x to the 9 plus 1 over x to the 9. This is the guy we need. Plus, you'll see you can factor out a 2 and it's the same expression. So this is 3 times x cubed plus 1 over x cubed. And this side also we have the same expression. So the question is, how do I connect x cubed plus 1 over x cubed to this guy? So that would be x plus 1 over x cubed. Again, I'll do it in 2 parts. But yeah, if you remember that cubic equation, if I was taking the exam, I would definitely memorize it. But right now, I don't. So x cubed plus x plus 1 over x plus 1 over x cubed plus 2x plus 2 over x. That's the x cubed plus 1 over x cubed piece. And then we'll get 3 times x plus 1 over x. And note, we do know what x plus 1 over x is. So that's cubed. So that would be 5 root 5, because you're multiplying root 5 with itself 3 times. And the goal here is we're trying to find this value. And then this would be 3 times root 5. So that means x cubed plus 1 over x cubed is 2 root 5. And we can plug it back in here, these values. So cube of that would be 8 times cube of root 5, which is 5 root 5, so 40 root 5. It is kind of getting messy here, plus 3 times that, so that would be 6 root 5. And then that means that would be 40 root 5 minus 6 root 5, which is 34 root 5. And we already know that that is the correct answer. So this is definitely kind of a lot of algebra. But I wasn't able to do this when I first attempted this question. But I think what you should at least ensure that you can do these types of manipulations, because in the future they will likely take these types of expressions and expect you to manipulate in similar ways. Here it required a cubic part, which I didn't see at first, but that's the only way. Other than that, we can actually find out x, plug it in, and as I said earlier, you can also try this hack. And there may be other ways to also do this faster. So in summary, the answer is D.